everybody. Welcome to another installment of the Rambling Film Group podcast. Hope you've had a great weekend. It's about done now. It's a little bit late on Sunday. So we'll begin this video slash podcast recording out to you as soon as we can tomorrow, more likely not, because I don't think it's been a long day for everybody involved. I believe I don't think anybody's going to be trying to spend all night editing and whatnot. As much as we love you guys, we love ourselves, so we got to take care of ourselves. So we'll keep putting this content out to you guys. As you can see alongside me, my wife Kelsey is with us this evening. I'm going to be going over the topics with her as well. You want to say anything else?
Nope, just hi guys.
Okay. Quick to the point. And then finally, we have our staple, always part of these videos, guys. Oh, he's feeling himself right now. Rightfully so. He put out a solo video yesterday on Dragon Ball Super episode 130. If you're a Dragon Ball Super fan, you haven't watched that yet, make sure you tune into that. It's on Facebook. I believe it is on YouTube as well. I don't know if we have audio of it anywhere, but
no, it was only like 15 minutes.
As I say, it's not that long. If you're like a big deal about video like that, then just reevaluate your priorities and everything like that. So without further ado,
go ahead and insult the small viewership that we have and how they like to take in our content.
Or just request and we can put out an audio.
Yeah.
That too. We got options here. Basically, it's later, as I said. So filters off a little bit more at this point in time. Me and Kelsey actually just got home from like a going on 3-hour drive. So, which we, by the way, fun fact for everybody listening, we tried to record in the car about 2 or 3 separate different times, and it's a lot harder than you would ever expect.
It was a struggle.
So, Anyways, that to say, the commitment is there by all parties.
And introducing Zach.
Yeah, I'm on it. Yeah, my bad. We got off on a tangent. We rambled, which is what we do. Speaking of Rambling Film Group, one of the people from the start, say hello to the people.
I've been here from the start, all 6 weeks. So, committed relationship. I'm here. I'm staying. You guys can't get rid of me like that. But no, hi to everybody. We got some good topics to talk about because, as I've said for the 3rd time now, there's been some information that's come out in the past week or so that I don't think anybody was expecting. So I'm excited to talk about it and get your guys' opinion on it, as well as the audience, get your guys' thought. And, this week we also have a topic that was given to us by one of the viewers themselves. So you guys can always send us stuff if you want to, get our opinion on it. And if you guys have time, maybe down the line we can have something where when you guys do make those suggestions, we can get you on video and get your intake on it as well. So definitely reach out to us, and if there's something you want to hear us talk about, we will gladly talk about it. But yeah, let's go ahead and get this started.
Yeah. Right. Shout out Matt Charles on that request. I'll shout him out again later. But without further ado, let's jump on into it. We have, as we said, covered this topic technically, or tried to, 3 different times. So this one's going to be pretty streamlined, practiced, and everything like that. You're going to see a super professional take.
No, they're not. Let's not lie to the people.
Let's say, probably not. Anyway, so the first story that we're going to talk about, I think is of the stuff we have is the oldest one that came out this week. Out of nowhere, unexpected news from Marvel.
Hey, Chuck, scoot over a little bit.
What's that?
Scoot over a little bit. Okay, right there. Go. Yeah, because you were moving and it's like half of your face was on screen. So, yeah.
She's full picture, everybody. So, there goes the professional. That was really quick. News out of Marvel. I don't know if it's a rumor. I think there's some, there's some traction, some, substance to it that Spike Lee is circling, directing a Knightwatch film for Marvel. I know if you are like me, so someone who is, definitely identifies as a nerd, but still has, limits to their knowledge and everything, you don't know what in the world Knightwatch is. I had never heard of it. Even a much larger Marvel fan than I am, with a sigh, he wasn't even too comfortable on what Knightwatch was either, right? And same thing for you, Kels.
I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah. For me, I mean, I've heard of Knightwatch. I knew he was a character, but I've never really read any of his comics. Granted, I will say, since we've been trying to do this video 3 times now, I've read up a little bit on him. So maybe, at this point, I am an expert in like the past hour. I got all that down. But yeah, I mean, from what I read, he is a really interesting character. At this point, it does feel like, since he is a minor Marvel character, that I feel like, why did I just go? It's too late, people.
Bear with us, everyone.
Yeah. Who's directing it again? Because
Spike Lee.
Thank you. I kept wanting to say Stan Lee, and I'm like, no, it's not Stan Lee.
That would be, of all movies that he would choose,
decide to direct.
Guys, I came up with this. Let me take a crack at one. Like, if he chose Knightwatch, that would be a surprise. Like, I gotta get Knightwatch out while I say.
But yeah. I feel like, with Spike Lee, he's at a point in his career where, nobody really goes to him and says, hey, are you interested in directing this? I mean, they probably do, but at this point, he basically goes to studios and says, hey, this is what I'm interested in doing. How would you be interested in possibly partnering up in this? And I was reading up on it. It looks like this was kind of originally planned last year. And Sony owned the rights because it's in that Spider-Man universe. But now that Marvel and Disney has the rights, it's now going to Disney. And Spike Lee got even more interested because it is over at Disney. And so he wouldn't mind partnering up with them and in doing that. And then it's supposed to be the writer. Oh my goodness. The writer for it did work on another movie that I'm drawing a blank on right now. But
who's in it? What studio it's from, or anything like that? The other work he's done. I mean,
I'm trying to think. Hold on, I'm pulling it up right now.
Okay.
Because I saw it and I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then it's late at night, so I forgot just that quick. That's what it was. So it was one of the writers or showrunners for Luke Cage, Chio Hadari Coker. So I thought that was pretty cool that they would take him. I guess they liked his work enough on Luke Cage that they're like, we'll go ahead and let you do a movie and see what you get. Hopefully, Coker did more of the first part of Luke Cage than the second half. Because if he, was a big role in the second half of Luke Cage, I don't know if that's not looking good just on paper. But as far as the information we have right now, I'm interested to see if it actually does get done.
Oh yeah. Well, has there? Besides like the Inhumans, has there been any Marvel projects that have been like officially announced that didn't happen?
I mean,
didn't happen as like in the capacity that we expected.
Not that I can think of, but at the same time, I mean, technically we did get Inhumans. I mean, we got one crappy season of it.
That's what I said. I think we all expected a movie, and then I think we all. Probably I didn't even watch it.
Me either.
Everybody that was anticipating, I think they'd like to pretend that was just something that fell through that never happened, rather than like if that's the thing. If that's like, I always feel so bad for people when like characters like that, like deep cuts, are like their favorite characters.
Oh yeah.
And then they get you can't help but be excited. For it being in live action. And if you get something like that, I'm just like, man, I don't know what that feels like, but I feel for you.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking.
Yeah, especially, when it is something that at first you're excited because you're going to get it on the big screen. Yeah. And then it slowly gets turned into something that's put on TV. And then you finally get that product. And even that is just well below what you would expect. Yeah. I mean, it got so bad that the showrunners at Marvel didn't even want to talk about it. when people would ask them questions, they're like, we're not discussing. That's how bad it was during the season.
Was that on their resume,
Yes.
It's just like they just put like a work history gap for like 2017.
Work history.
But yeah, but at the same time, this it hasn't really been confirmed the way Inhumans was. Like, it's still just a rumor, so it is something that Marvel hasn't really confirmed. So that's why, as far as right now, I just want to get a little bit more information, especially directly from Marvel's mouth, that, hey, this is something we're at least looking into. Because you're right, once we do get the word from Marvel, a lot of times we get something out of it at some point. So, once we hear from them, I think it's a go. But as of right now, it's just kind of a rumor.
Gotcha. You got any thoughts on it, Kels?
No. I mean, I know I am such a disaster. So I know nothing about Knightwatch. I don't know anything about Spike Lee. I probably do, but probably don't recognize. Okay, hear me out.
Not great with names.
Hear me out.
Yeah.
I'm not great with names.
Okay.
Even things I love, I am not great with names. I have no idea who did what or when.
Music,
television,
movies, it's kind of across.
Doesn't matter. I'm not good at keeping like names and stuff. So when people are like, "Oh, this person's doing it," I'm like, I have no idea what that means. Like, should I be excited or should I be disappointed?
So
I have no clue.
I mean, so Spike Lee, he's one of the all-time great directors, especially black directors. So if you can't think of anything, I'll make up a list and give you guys some movies to watch of his, because they are really good, especially like the stuff he made in like the 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
Because he's like a big reason why black colleges were successful in the 80s and 90s, because he was really pushing people, people of color going to college. He's kind of been silent, I'd say, since the millennium. He hasn't really done much.
Old Boy might have been like the last. Well, no, actually, Chirac, I think, was the last movie.
Well, he did something on Netflix last year. He has a show on Netflix. I can't think of the name. But yeah, he has a Netflix show.
He's gonna have it.
That's it. Yeah. I didn't really watch it because I wasn't really interested in it, but Spike Lee, he's a great director, so if this is something he's interested in doing and he's going to put his all into it, and if Coker again worked on that first half of Luke Cage, I think it could be successful.
I think even if he worked on the second half, I'm at a point now in Marvel's career, especially with like the universe that they've built, they know what they're doing. I trust them to do something and to do it well if it's going to be a part of that like universe, So even not knowing anything about it or like not recognizing like Spike Lee, like there's a good chance I've seen some of his movies. I've seen a lot, so there's a good chance I've seen something, But even not, I honestly like they've earned it at this point. Like it's been decades. Like I'm like, you guys want to do this project with this crazy obscure character? I'm in. Oh
yeah, no, absolutely. I would still pay to see it. It wouldn't be like, oh my God, I'm not seeing this because of the director and the writer. It may kind of hinder my hopes a little bit, because I would just be thinking about that second half of Luke Cage and just how bad. Like that's one of I'm not gonna lie, Luke Cage was so good that first half, and for that epic drop off that it had, like I think that's unprecedented in any show. To have a drop off like that. Can you really think of a show in one season to have a drop off that bad?
Yeah, it was really disappointing. It was like a totally different show.
Yeah.
It was the struggle.
Yeah. So
and I think it made it even worse because the first half was so good that it's just that much worse. Where if that one would have been on its own, I would have been like, it's decent. But coming right after everything, like, nope.
Good. You can kind of trace that, it falling away to like fate of one character, and that character was done so well, performed so well, and given so much attention and so much to do that it really it can kind of come down to that decision. So if he made that decision, if he's the writer, let's
it kind of just
it's like
right. I will say though, the actor who did Cottonmouth, he killed that role like that. He did so good that I consider his portrayal of that character one of the top villains in like Marvel, whether it's the TV or MCU. Like he killed that.
I'll give you that. It was so good. It was so good.
Yeah, he was very, very good.
So there, I mean, there we go, rambling again. We really weren't even talking about Luke Cage. But what's the next topic? I think it's DC, right?
Yes. So another directing. Well, this one is.
It's confirmed.
It's a full on. Is it confirmed? Okay.
She confirmed it.
Yeah, it's confirmed. All right. I was like, it's real stuttering right there. My bad, everybody. I bet I was like moving a lot, like twitching too. That was weird. Anyways, the confirmation of Ava DuVernay is going to be helming a New Gods movie, which is just on so many different levels. Like just as like a comics fan, and then as just a film fan, and as particularly a minority that's a fan of both of these things. This is such a huge, crazy, like amazing story to me that I'm super, super happy about in so many different ways. I still haven't got a chance to see A Wrinkle in Time yet. If you guys have like followed like our last couple videos and stuff like that, I was really busy the previous week. This past week, I've been sick. This is the healthiest day I've had, so I'm trying to catch up this coming week and everything. But I know the reception to A Wrinkle in Time wasn't the greatest and everything like that, so I'm looking forward to seeing the movie for myself and be able to give my own opinion and everything. Her other work has been phenomenal.
Yeah.
I'm betting, like, regardless of how the final product is, I'm thinking I'm going to still admire the chances and everything that the filmmaker did and everything like that. But I guess the point I was trying to make, and you know what? I can't lie to you, I lost it completely.
That happens.
I lost the point I was going with completely.
He's very excited because he's a minority. He's a film lover. He's a
comic book lover.
Oh, found it. Thank you guys so much. It was the fact that even though it didn't get the greatest reception, either critically and financially performing, DC still had no problem. We're assuming, I guess, because she's confirmed, having another, like her next film being just as big, potentially even a bigger budget project.
I would think it would have to be bigger.
Yeah,
I would think
you're
so
right.
too.
You're right. Bigger budget and honestly, way more eyes and scrutiny going to be on her. And they handed the reins to her. So hats off to WB, and I'm so happy and excited for Ava.
Yeah, absolutely. I would agree with that. Again, on all those platforms, a comic book lover, a fan of films, a minority who's a fan of both of those, to see her get this chance with the characters that are involved in that story, this is honestly unprecedented. Like, I mean, they're not only the minority part, they're giving it to a woman. Like, how?
I was gonna say too, for just like a woman too to get like. I mean, we've got the start with like Wonder Woman, but
yeah, this is
bigger.
I know Wonder Woman is a huge superhero, but this is on another scale. There's about 6 or 7 characters, and some of them are some of the top villains that DC has, and they're entrusting her to tell this story. A lot of which this will be the first time we see those characters on camera. So that is just crazy that they're giving her this chance to do it. I will say I was slightly surprised considering her most recent film, Wrinkle in Time, is a Disney movie, that Disney and Marvel didn't try to, get her for something. Because you would have to think that they probably heard that it was coming with the DC. I'm kind of surprised that they maybe didn't try to like throw the whole bank at her to do a Marvel movie.
Well, I'm pretty sure she passed on Black Panther. Well, I know she passed on Black Panther.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure she has passed on an opportunity to do anything with Star Wars too.
I remember. I do remember the Star Wars.
She's not interested.
Yeah.
But wasn't she? Is she just like a huge fan?
She has said her favorite superhero is Big Barda.
Oh, all right.
She has put that previously put that out there.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
But that should really up excitement too, because I mean, not only is she crazy talented, but somebody who's actually be passionate and know these characters that's really exciting.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So I gotta give WB hats off on this one. This is clearly a home run. Like, I'm not gonna lie, most of the time we give WB credit for, their casting actor wise. I think this might be like the biggest home run they've hit when it comes to directors.
I'm just like, without seeing the work that's going to come potentially, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, just in terms of like buzz for it's like a director getting attached with their movies that they've started, because I think people, obviously knew Patty Jenkins and were looking forward to that and everything, but I feel like there's a different level of energy with this.
Yeah.
Part of it could just be too when just the property itself is so huge. Like, New Gods is such a giant thing that's got to add to it.
Absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, I'm really excited. There's not even a release date for it, and I mean, obviously, there's no script or anything yet, and I want to see this movie in like the next day. That's how excited I am for it.
That's high on my anticipation.
Bring it down, guys. Bring it down. We know what WB has done.
Yeah.
Start tempering those expectations like stat.
That's true.
We don't know when that will be announced as part of the slate. And
we don't know how the hell it's going to fit into this universe. If it's going to make sense and fit into this universe. Because that's another thing that I'm afraid of. Like, this is not actually the story, but I don't want her to get this and to have this incredible opportunity, and I'd be so excited for a New Gods film, but I don't want it to be thrown in there the same way that we're just going to kind of throw in, like, a Gotham Sirens or whatever this nonsense is. Like, I don't want, and it's hard because the properties are different, but at the same time, in the same way that the Gotham Sirens doesn't really make sense to, I feel like, bigger fans, I don't want it just to be tossed in there because it's a big property and they got a killer director. Like, I want this to be done well and right. I want it to be earned, and and I don't want WB to like chop it up into little pieces and have it just be some just crap. Like, again, not really the story, but it's hard to be. They've honestly made it to the point now where it's hard to be excited about things like uninhibited, or however you would say that. Like, it's hard when you hear such great news and you're like, yes, that's great. Oh crap, maybe not.
I hope it actually happens. Like,
yeah. So that's the point where we're at for some of like my favorite things, but
I would agree. I will admit, like, when I first saw it, my first thought was, I hope in a year from now we don't hear that she's out of the project, or it's just in like development hell. Like, I really hope that within a year we see some actual legitimate process, because it would be huge. I would love to see it. But again, yes, it has to be done correctly. They can't just throw this one in there because they want the paycheck.
Yeah.
I was talking to somebody on, just somebody random on Facebook about this, that I feel like with them going this route, I feel like it almost has to confirm that they do have further plans for Justice League, specifically, Dark Side.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you can't not have that come into play. So, and that just makes me,
it's encouraging.
That's a good word. I'm encouraged about what they're going to be doing with the characters potentially. And I think there's also been like kind of chatter out there that they're going to really start trying to focus more on their core heroes. So I mean, I hope that Joker standalone kind of falls apart. Oof. I hope that basically every Gotham-centered person besides Bruce,
which is crazy. It's crazy that they had all these Gotham-centered characters confirmed for movies, but there was nothing, like, they couldn't get anything settled for the Batman. I'm like, how does that make sense?
Which actually is a really good segue to
look at me setting stuff up. I did that on purpose.
Wow. Professionalism.
All right. Just let it go.
I'm just impressed by the man. Anyways. teaser that next story it's been I think it's been confirmed by the man in charge himself, Matt Reeves, that the Batman solo movie is not going to be going into production until next year. Not until 2019 will they actually get on set and start filming.
I'll start off with this one because I'm not gonna lie, I'm really excited. I'm just glad to hear something positive about the Batman. Like, like it's been a full year, and this is the first positive thing I've heard about the Batman since they really announced it. So
that's really fair. Horrible, but fair.
I'm hoping that they keep Ben because I think he's done a wonderful job as Batman and Bruce. Hopefully they can get a solid story that piques his interest because he does love the character, and I think for him the story has to be something like The Dark Knight where he just gets really, really excited about the story. Also, I really hope they kind of go away from the Joker. I don't really want another Joker Batman movie. Not that I don't love the character, but there are other villains that Batman has that you can create a really good story. Me and Chuck, we've talked about this in the past. It's been a while, but I really hope they use Hush. The Hush character. I think that would be a fantastic role, and Matt Damon has had some interest in portraying that. Him and Ben have talked about it.
Back together.
Yeah, him and Ben have talked about it, and if anybody could get Matt Damon to play a role that you're not gonna see his face for a good 75% of the movie, I think it's Ben who could convince him to do that. You do want to kind of temper your spirits a little bit because it is WB, but it is exciting to hear just a little bit of positive news making its way out of that Batcave.
Yeah,
agreed.
I would actually think I think this is for sure something positive, and kind of going on with you saying like, well, I don't know because it's WB. I think this is intentional by them. I honestly think they recognize, like, guys, we have to get a Batman movie out, like, now.
Yeah.
And I really think they do recognize that, and I think this year is honestly, I think they're going to use sometimes, because I think they want to keep Ben. I really do. I think they want to keep Ben. So I think because we're still like, is he, isn't he? I think this entire time is probably, they're still, like, in negotiation, but they're like, we have to do something to speed this along.
Right.
So let's get Ben, or let's not. We have a year to either negotiate with him or to get somebody else on board, but we're starting this thing. And I think this might be them kind of like holding themselves accountable. Like, okay, we have a year to get our crap together. Let's do this now.
Yep.
We're going to negotiate with Ben. We really want Ben. Let's try to, whatever they need to do to keep him, whether it's more money or whether it's more creative freedom or whether it's more credit. Like, I don't know what he's wanting exactly. But if they can make it work, I feel like they want to. But at the same time, if they can't, I think they're still leaving themselves in a good position to bring somebody new on board and still get everything rolling.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think for Ben, I think if WB can show him that they're going to focus on those core, players that DC has, they bring him a great script for the Batman, and then they also show him with new gods that, hey, this is gonna be something big. Yeah, the DCEU isn't just going to fall on the shoulders of whether the Batman movie is successful. I think if they can go to him and show those things, I think that's what will reinvigorate his interest and get him excited to continue to play the role.
Yeah. And then do you still want the Red Hood?
I was just actually about to touch on that. I was gonna say, as many great villains that he has that they haven't gotten either the proper demonstration, because as much as I like Tom Hardy, that's not a comic accurate Bane. I know he's a harder one to pull off, but I feel like he still could find a little bit more middle ground. But the Poison Ivy, Mr. Freeze, whatever, we've seen a fair amount of people, but we haven't seen that many people done right.
Yeah.
So me personally, I think the villain I'd like to see most would be the Riddler, But the storyline that I want to see most is that Under the Red Hood storyline.
So here's my issue with Under the Red Hood. As much as I want to see it, because it is one of my favorite stories, it relies very heavily on the Joker, that storyline. And yeah. I just kind of want a break from, like, as much as I want to see that story, I almost as equally want a break from the Joker. So it's kind of that toss up, because you can't do that story right without having a Joker who's going to kill that role.
But I mean, honestly, I have a lot of faith that Leto could do that. I would have ultimate faith in, like, Matt Reeves getting Leto to do that.
Oh no, it's not that I don't think Leto could do it, because I think he can with the right script. I mean, we've talked about this, and especially as we continue the What Went Wrong with DC YouTube. Another plug there. You're welcome. You know, I think, you know, you just have to give Leto the right script and the right director, and yes, I think he could murder it. I just want a break from the Joker. We've seen him done 3 times in the Batman films, and yes, we've seen other characters done, but like you said, we haven't seen them done correctly, so I would like for that to be shed a little bit of light on. Because if you're going to do Under the Red Hood, another thought is I would have to see that one rated R. I don't think you could do a hard PG-13, because Joker killing Robin, like, that's a brutal beating. Like, that's one of the worst beatings that you see in any DC comic book. So I would want it portrayed equally as well on screen, and I don't know if you could do that with just a hard PG-13.
I don't know. You can get away with a decent amount of violence with PG-13 nowadays.
Yeah,
like it's really technical,
but
about how the act of violence is pretty fair game, but the effect of the act of violence is more where it's really technical about how you pull it up.
I mean, think about it. It's not just regular violence. Like, it's full on torture for like a good day. You know, he's torturing the crap out of Robin. I'd want them to go deep into that bag. And I just don't know if I would enjoy it with a hard PG-13. I would want to see that rated R.
Because you're just a sick, twisted individual.
Just a little bit.